What is up, all my beautiful lovers? I am so glad to see you guys back. I am sorry that I missed last week, but man, the overwhelming emotions that I personally was going through, plus the world itself here especially here in the United States. I mean, with everything going on that we were told about North Carolina with Wyoming and everything, plus the X9 just like knocked me down. I was done. But we're coming to the end of 3 eclipses. Now, technically, this full moon in Aries is a hunter's moon, but it's like an almost near eclipse. Technically, it's not exactly in proper precision to be considered an eclipse, yet they're still considering it like an almost near eclipse. But what that really means is you're in a lunar energy. So it's double shadow. And let's face it, we're looking at a, like a double shadow, almost lunar full moon eclipse. What happens when you have full moons, guys? Everything comes out of the woodwork for you to identify with, acknowledge, and fix what has to change. You're also looking at a full moon, which is meaning we're identifying with it and we're shifting it so that we can make changes before we get to the next new moon. However, this is in Aries, so it's also a beginning, even though it's a midway point. It's a beginning and an end, or an end and a beginning, Alpha and the Omega. But what I'm really getting before I get into the astrology, the blueprint, and everything, and what I'm getting if you've never watched the show before, what I do right now is I'm pretty much channeling the energy plus entities or whatever. I'm sorry. But I say whatever because I never know exactly who all I'm going to be getting or what I'm going to be getting and how to bring it to you. Right now, I'm being told that there's a lot of relationship grief going on, whether that is, in your everyday personal life or it has to do with, I mean, like I said, there was so much sadness with what happened in North Carolina and everything, especially. And I remember identifying with spirit in general and just being like, or communicating with spirit in general, just being like, so overwhelmed and upset and sad about what had happened with so many people. And one of the ways that spirit was even showing me, because they'll put images in my head, was just more or less like, as if for many of the people out there, and I'm not trying to be negative, but I have a reason why I'm going this route. The spirit more or less was like, take one of your loved ones and be trying to hold on to them for dear life in those waters and just lose grip and hearing them wash away and then trying to live with yourself. There are so many people who did make it through that who are also just devastated, and suicides even taking place because they actually lived through it. The state that the United States is in right now, the reason I explained that to you, because they gave me someone very dear to me to see that happening to, which was just heart-wrenching and heartbreaking. And I can only imagine, and our hearts go out to all of those in need. But the state of the United States right now, and many other states and countries, not states, I mean countries, I said months ago, I was feeling the Hunger Games. And what spirit is giving me, Rushnagal, especially. Like Rushnagal is sitting here saying, everyone, period. This is the end of a cycle and the beginning of a cycle, even though it's a full moon. We are talking about a near. This is a near-death experience, is what she just said. It's a near-death experience, but not in the way of dying, in the way of a part of you dying, a part of the ego dying, a part of us coming into being closer to our true self if we're doing this right. And we're really getting into the deep part of our process, of our fire, of our souls. And I'm bringing it back into, I don't have it here in front of me. Hold on. Um, yes, it's relationship grief, but I don't remember what the other one is. It's still, oh, okay, because I wasn't understanding the way it was being given to me. It's a lot of sacral chakra energy, and it's having to do with sexual energy, but not sexual as in comfortable in your skin, feeling good about yourself, feeling secure within yourself. That sacral chakra energy and the relationship we have with ourselves, and that relationship grief of where we're allowing ourselves to heal, because we cannot heal if we are in victim mode, is what Russia is explaining to me right now, and others. I was stating that a few weeks ago, maybe a month or so ago, I was feeling the Hunger Games and energy coming on. And I'm being given, not just with natural disaster energies, but I mean, let's face it, we all know how the government really feels about us. We all know that just like in the Hunger Games, you have the game makers, the elites. And what I'm really getting is, people, you have got to get out of victimized mode. This is not, and you are not District 12. You are not District 12 in that movie. However, what you are, just like Katniss Everdeen, you are the girl on fire. You are the souls on fire. That's the mentality you need to be in right now. I'm being given the movie Twister also. And because that's an old movie for some of you, may never ever even heard of it. But anyway, in the movie Twister, the scene that I'm being given is the one girl is yelling at her ex-husband at the time, and she's like, "You've never seen what that thing can really do," talking about a tornado, and you haven't ever seen it go after this house and after that house. I mean, or skip this house and skip that house and come directly after you. And I'm being given that because it's important right now. You need to understand that has a lot to do with the timeline you're on. That has a lot to do with, plain and simply, the frequency that you are carrying. And everything that your vibration and your frequency is has everything to do with what you are identifying with. And this is why, if we are sitting in victim mode, if we are sitting in I can only identify with this horrible reality and bad things that are happening, and that's what you're viewing and identifying with and seeing and putting into perspective, then that is where you're going to get that twister energy of, it skipped that house and it skipped this house and it just came after you, because it will, because it does. But what you have to realize is, like I said, we are not District 12, no matter how much they want us to be. But what we are the souls on fire. Now I'm going to take you to a different movie. You are Divergent. You are the Divergent. You just have to remember it and get out of that victim mode. You have a shit ton of shadow energy coming in Aries. Great balls of fire, okay? Aries energy at this near eclipse full moon Aries, I'm sorry, but Aries is the type of energy that will punch you right in the face and, oh, think about if they should have done that later, if they even bother to think about it or have remorse about it later, but they followed their emotions and they did it at that time. They are a fireball that is uncontrollable. Aries is a beginning point. It is definitely me first energy. It has a brilliant idea. It gets in the role of the locomotive or the train, just vroom, until something preoccupies it. And then it gets in that locomotive train vroom, in the other direction. It's what I also call like la da 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 squirrel. They get sidetracked very easily with a new brilliant idea. And so they don't follow through with things well. And at this point, it's very important for you to be grounded and secure within yourself. Pay attention to what your mind is thinking, what you're identifying with, what you're taking part of energy with, conversations that you are taking part of energy in. Like I said, you don't want that lower vibrational frequency and timeline shifting, landing on. You never watched it go after this house and that, I mean, skip this house and skip that house and skip this house and come directly after you. What you do want is that higher vibration, that higher frequency, and making sure that you're connecting with the higher things. Now they're giving me Bruce Almighty. And what they're giving me, good. What they're really giving me is when God in the movie is mopping the floor, talking to Bruce. You know what that is? Humble. Why would God ever have to mop the floor? It's God. There's nothing that can't be done. There's nothing in consciousness that doesn't exist, that couldn't be created, birthed, or taken out. If you're thinking of it as that God perspective. People are praying all the time. But even in the movie, he says, I'll see you at 7 at 7. I'll see you on the 7th at 7. He knew, but still humble. This has to do with our inner peace, our inner journey, our inner, you can't take my soul flame and fire and me out of me. But if you're in victim mode, then you already lost it. Or tantric energy, prana energy. I might be saying it wrong. The Hinduism idea of healing, which has a lot to do with, or a lot like Reiki energy. But the idea here is when you allow that life force energy into every aspect of your body and your soul and your mind, and it flows through you, then you are alive. It's like you're thriving. Like I say all the time, what makes you tick? What makes you want to get up and be part of this life and reality every day? And are you giving yourself the time to explore and be part of that and enjoy what makes you tick? Or are you preoccupied in the things that don't make you tick, that you feel like you have to do, which is more or less just a manipulation taking from your time? And when you're in that prana energy, that's the thriving energy. That's the life force flowing through you, connecting with all thoughts, emotions, material, everything. The the not three-dimensional, but connecting three-dimensionally through everything from a higher dimensional perspective. But when we don't have that energy flowing through us, we are starting to die. So this is where we're looking right now at, where is the soul on fire? We have to be connected to that idea in the Hunger Games of the girl on fire. You may have come from District 12, but fuck you. I am the flaming fire of soul. So we are not District 12, is the best way I can put it. Because what you have to understand is, I've been saying for the longest time, we're so beyond shadow. We're so beyond shadow work. What we are working in is rot. We are working in what's been at the bottom, sifting in just the drainage, the literal liquid drainage of the rot that's at the bottom of the pot. And where your game makers are showing their corrupted rot perspectives and pushing it out onto us. And what we have hive mind mentality, because this is what we were taught and we're trying to work our way away from, what we're learning is more or less to clean from the inside out the rot stains. This is so much deeper than your typical shadow work. And like I said, it's more or less like a double shadow, a double mirror right now. And any and everything you are identifying with, thinking about, talking about, communicating about, being a part of your groups, your memberships, your committees, all of this, it's energy that you eat, but it's that very same energy that consumes you and becomes you. And it's very important for us to be aware of how we are working through this as we get into that all up close and personal, up in your face, Aries, lunar, almost near eclipse, full moon, while it illuminates all of it. But here's some other key points that most people are not going to talk to you about. I have certain like dwarf planets and stuff that are out in the Kuiper belt that most people don't talk about, which makes a big difference in the energies that they don't explain 90% of the time in astrology. You have make that is in Libra. And technically the sun has just passed it. This is also why the energy last week was so much more potent, but it's still lingering. It's still adding its influences to what the sun identifies with, because all planets take their orders from the sun. And the sun right now is in Libra, trying to illuminate harmony, balance, and justice by showing us all where it's not. However, make is the lotus flower. When we look at it from astrology, it speaks to you about the lotus flower grows in some of the most worst, nastiest swamp energy. It's in the darkness. It's just like, when you plant a seed and you put it in the ground and you put it in the earth and you leave it there in the darkness until it breaks through and it starts to grow to where we can see it. The lotus flower grows in the swampiest, murkiest, nasty smelling and land, swamps is the way we view it. But then eventually it breaks through. So it's not in the dark anymore. It's breaking through into the light. It's kind of bobbing. I see the dark, I see the light. I see the dark, I see the light. Until it starts stretching and stretching and it opens up and blooms into the light, to one of our highest level perspectives of the highest perspectives of spiritual growth. So where are you? Where is your sun in Libra relationship zone? I say this because it's directly across from Aries. The sun, where is the sun illuminating? Are you still in the swamp? Are you starting to bob between? Or are you stretching to find the light? because that's influencing how the sun is identifying with yourself, the relationship you have with yourself, as well as the relationship we have with others. And I say a million times that any and all relationships you have mean something. Even material relationships. When you have no money, you know all about your relationship with the lack of that money. When you have no roof over your head, you have no car, you know all about those relationships. So anything you care about, you personally have a relationship with. And what is your responsibilities within this relationship? And how and why are you identifying with it the way you are? Is it from the swamp? Is it from up above? Or in between, seeing both perspectives? Or have you risen above this? Last week, that energy was very much there, showing a lot of people where they're still in that victim mode. They're still in that swampland energy. Like I said, we have been hive mind mentality in such a state of rot for so long that we don't even acknowledge that we're in the rot. We're learning how to clean that and get rid of it, and what justifications and how do we fix it and heal it. But we can't do it when we're feeling that victim energy. Next is you have Haumea. Haumea is the collective consciousness, your personal connection with that collective consciousness. And it has moved into Scorpio. Mercury is moving into Scorpio. Mercury, the communication is directly going to be coming up on this, directly across from that lunar eclipse, full moon. So you have all of this energy marinating in the outer world of those relationships, the rules, the walls, the boundaries. What are the jobs and responsibilities to making these relationships work? Rebirth. I was saying last week, you're finding many people are realizing that your tribes are shifting. Some people have grown, some people have not. You're not meant to always have the same tribe. Not everybody is on the same dimensional perspectives. And the shifting that's taking place for it to be able to find harmony, balance, justice while being responsible. This is outside of us, but it is also the relationship we have with us, because we're coming back to that energy taking place in the character of who we are. Very Aries, want me first energy. Going to be very aggressive in your face, abrupt, but a lot of mirroring and a lot of, are you stuck in that victim mode? Because if you are, here comes that twister. Skip this house, skip that house, come directly after you. And that's not what you want. You want you want yourself to be growing and maturing through this. Not to mention, I've been saying for a while now, with Pluto back in Capricorn, it's only going to be here until I think mid-November, right around the corner, less than a month away. Where I keep saying, if you want to make changes, this is the time to hold firm, stick strong, stay strong, keep pushing that through, because Pluto in Capricorn is not going to be there to necessarily help you or harm you after mid-November. This is that last time from that old world perspective of what we're still stuck dealing with until we make the new changes with with Pluto in Aquarius. This is the last time to throw shit at that wall and make it stick. And you only have till November. And let me see, as you see, mid-November, as you see, it's not going to be easy to make these things stick at this point. You've had, 30 years of knowledge here? This is your last chance of, here's your damn warning. This is why that also is so hard. Not to mention in Capricorn, it's not close to Pluto, but it is still in Capricorn. So therefore it is filling Capricorn with that energy. You have Pholos and you have Ceres. That's the threefold, people. That is karma. That is nurturing or neglecting energy. Which one is it? And then it also has full loss. Because of that full perspective, you lost. What are we looking at? Full loss, full loss, but the way I get it from them is full loss. Pholos was a centaur, is one of the centaurs, and was killed in the mythology because of an accidental poison. It was an accident. Oops. But now your life's gone. Fool's loss. This is the time to take that action. But it is also, like I said, that time for the hermit at the same time. You have to stay out, stay firm, stay grounded, but also give yourself that inner growth time. This is what are you connecting with, because the energies you are identifying and connecting with is what energy and frequency ultimately you are carrying. And be very aware of your surroundings right now and what you are allowing yourself to take part in. Now, as I get into the blueprint, we'll just start right off with that full loss in Ceres, nurturing and neglect, versus Pluto. That is all in the knees. So, where is it that you're getting in your own way? And I'm saying it that way because a lot of times that has to do with your flexibility. Where are you stuck in your mind thinking your belief system can only be a certain way? Because the knees are responsible for holding the whole body up. They carry the weight, emotional, mental, spiritual, physical weight of the body. And they have to be flexible. So where is flexibility causing a problem here? Where's knees issues causing a problem here? That might be speaking to you directly about something you might need to know. Plus, let's take it all the way back up to the top. Aries is the head. You still have the North Node here, and you have Eris here. Eris again is, oh yeah, Eris is also right on the energy of where that lunar eclipse is going to take place. Eris is trouble and discord. Trouble, toil, and strife. Where are you choosing trouble, toil, and strife? It is the apple of discord. Where can I make the problem bigger and keep them preoccupied? This is what I like to say often also is somewhat of connected to Medusa energy. Woe is me. Energy. Trouble, toil, strife, making things worse for you. Is your head connected right or wrong? What frequency are you choosing to be? Because your head ultimately is sending signals to your zeal point and up and down the chakras through the spinal cord and your circulatory system into every single chakra. Bringing us back to that humbleness, because I'm in my spirit, I'm in my power, versus woe is being victim. What is the head identifying with? How are you viewing the world and yourself? Uranus is on the nose. Uranus is on the nose. This is the energies that you are breathing in, but it is also just nostril energy. It is also sneezing, sinuses. Uranus is your independence, your individuality, your uniqueness, your freedom. Jupiter is on the arms. The arms. the energies that the arms are carrying from both perspectives, positive and negative. But you know what the arms are connected to? The heart chakra. So this is the weight that we are putting on the heart. If you're having just sore ass arms. Mars right now is in Cancer. It's the adrenal and the gastric energies. It's the blood vessels of the gastric energy. So this has to do with the oxygen also moving through and removing of waste. Mars is your warrior, your inner SWAT team, but I always connect them with your sacral chakra. Again, are you a wise warrior or an apprentice warrior? Are you ready to just go out and punch somebody in the face because they pissed you off without thinking that through? Or maybe you didn't even get the right information. This is speaking about your inner warrior, inner SWAT team, your inner emotional security. Is it being tested? Libra has the sun here, Lilith here, Juno here, Haumea here, Make here. Technically, that's 5 planets, guys. That's the kidneys, the appendix, the skin, the butt, and issues with the spine. Scorpio has Venus and Mercury, but this is your reproduction energies, but it's also the gallbladder, the colon, and the bladder itself. So I'm giving you ideas of how you may be finding blockages within your energy that is directly speaking from the planetary energy into the chakra energy. The moon is going to be moving through Pisces, then Aries into Taurus, and ending the last day in Gemini. Right there is your beginning, your end, and your new beginning, even though it's a full moon. So it's cycles within cycles. Saturn, Nessus, and Neptune. Nessus is the curse. Saturn are the rules, walls, and the boundaries that are keeping us from finding the healing. Neptune going, I don't care what we create. I'm just magic, man. I create whatever you want. If you want to stay in full loss, then I will give you that. The 12th house is all about healing, but it's in areas of where we have problems identifying how to make changes to heal. But we're stuck in grief, sorrow, shame, blame, insecurity, skeletons in the closet, where we find ourselves in the curse ancestrally over and over. Hive mind mentality. You're feeling that energy come through right before you enter that Aries energy on that lunar eclipse on Thursday, the full moon on Thursday, where then it goes over the North Node, Chiron, and then it smacks with its energy with Eris, trouble, toil, and discard. People are not going to be in the mood for anybody's shit. Okay? And then we move into Taurus with Uranus afterwards. Are you in your power? Did you pass the test? Or are you easily pushed into attack mode? Because if you're being pushed into attack mode, then you're not really in your power. You're afraid. You have a grand trine all week with Venus, Neptune, and Mars. Venus in Scorpio now. Being very sensitive about rebirthing, about making the relationships and the rules and responsibilities of these relationships. Sensitivity is here. But Neptune, like I said, this is a trine. It's a water trine. It is emotionally cleansing if we are doing it right. Speaking with you coming into your power, into your inner warrior, into your inner emotional security, being able to be open about what you need, in the responsibility area of these relationships, you're taking responsibility and then creating something new. It is here if you're willing to step into it. Unpredictably, though, you have Mercury and Mars. I mean, Mercury not getting along with Neptune. That communication doubts it. For some, if you're in that doubting, victimized energy, then you're just going to doubt even more. If you're in the power of believing in yourself, you're going to believe even more. It's very unpredictable. It depends on you and how you are identifying with it. But it's also having that unpredictable energy with Chiron, identifying with who and what you are. It's called the wounded healer because it's great at pointing it out on everybody else, but not so good on its own. You also have Mars, which is not getting, which is having unpredictable energy with the South Node. Everything you need to realize you're good at, but it doesn't serve you anymore in those relationships. What is your comfort zone in the relationships, but they're not helping? Then you have Jupiter and Chiron. Abundance of who and what you are. Do you know? Are you connecting properly? But let me tell you, everybody is talking to Pluto. Pluto is speaking with Venus, the North Node, Neptune, Saturn, Mercury, South Node, Uranus. All about, are you going to find out who you are? Venus, the sensitivity, is talking with Pluto. Very good. Speaking with Neptune and Mars. Very good. Speaking with Chiron on identifying who you are. But it is having a problem with Uranus. Standing in that power. Believing in that power. Mars is speaking with everybody this week. Pluto, Chiron, the sun. All in ways of going, I'm not sure that I'm capable of it. Well, if you don't believe you are, then you already aren't. Are you the soul on fire or are you District 12? You are divergent. It is getting along great with Venus and Neptune, but that depends on where you're allowing your sensitivity to take you. Are you allowing your emotions to rule you? Are you comprehending what they are saying, what they are explaining to you? Because Venus can often tell you when something hurts and why it's hurting, and it's a warning. Like say, when you put your hand in an oven at 365 degrees without an oven mitt and you burn the shit out of your hand, that is your Venus going, don't do this to us. That shit hurts. Learn that lesson. Venus is not love. She's trying to teach you lessons about what is good and what is not. And then apply that with the Neptune energy. How to create what is good and what is not. But like I said, it's all going through a death for a rebirth, the end and the beginning. Even though it's a full moon, it is a new beginning. I love you guys. I will see you next week. Bye.